Okay, so we're beginning right now. Others will join us as we're going on. This meeting will be recorded, and the link will be posted for the recording later. So link will be posted for recording later. So thank you for that. So welcome to this webinar. So glad to have you all here. So glad to have you all here. This is a good thing. Something's wrong with my camera. Trying to get my camera up. Okay. Let's see. What's going on? Okay. I'm just trying to figure out why my camera isn't showing up again. Which is weird. Showing a few seconds ago. Alright. Let me switch back to. Okay, I'm just going to walk out and walk back in quickly just to be sure there's no issues here.
I hope you can hear me. Please let's give our faculty some time to get back on and sort his technical issues out. I'm sure he's back on the call and he will be with us as soon as possible. Okay, my apologies. For everyone, I do hope you've downloaded Figma on your computers so that you can follow along as as he teaches, so that you can practice as well. If you need any help, don't hesitate to drop your comments, questions in the chat box, and we'll be right there with you. Okay. So first of all, make sure your setup, your internet is good. There will be a recording, like he mentioned, and we will share that with you at the end of the day, so that you can do a replay and and be able to get the best out of this training session. Once again, this is coming courtesy AppTech Learning Guarimpa, AppTech and Arena Guarimpa. My name is Robo, and I'll be one of your guides from here. Okay, Mr. Harold, take it from here. Thank you.
Right, thank you, Sarabo. Um, Good evening, everyone. Yes, for for some reason, my face is not showing again. So, but that's notwithstanding, I will still continue with the training. The meeting is being recorded, and the meeting is being recorded on OBS. So, yeah, thank you. For some reason, my camera is not showing, but regardless, continue with the training. Um, the meeting is being recorded, so for some reason, I think it's because of the recording, the camera isn't showing. So, but then let's just go ahead with the training. In the recording, yes, you will be able to see my face. So, welcome to this seminar. My name is Harold Hansen, faculty at AppTech Computer Education at Guarimpa, Abuja. That's in Nigeria here, great country of Nigeria. So this is a UI UX masterclass, kind of 2-hour free course to give you an insight into uh, what UI UX is. So today we are going to learn everything we need to know to get started as a UI UX designer using Figma. We'll use this tool to create an engaging food app designed from scratch. So by the end of this training, we will have a food app created by us, probably 3 or 4 pages of the app, and then I will give an assignment which you can submit within the week. Um, so we're going to create an engaging food app design while also dealing with stuff like what UX or what UI design is, what you could expect to be doing working as a UI designer, real world expectations of you as a new UX designer, a little touch up on what color theory is all about, and we'll also use typography and lots more. We're doing a whole lot of things to do. So basically, this this webinar is aimed at people who are new to design, okay, any kind of design, whether you're new to user experience design or design. Even if you are not entirely sure what UX design is, you've never heard of it before, so that's not a it's not a handicap for you. So we'll start at the very beginning and we'll walk our way through step by step. So I'm going to guide you with everything that we're going to be doing today and make sure we harness the few minutes we have together. First of all, thank you for attending this webinar, and I do hope we uh, have a great time together. All right, so I'll start with the brief. Um, for information, the PowerPoint slides that I'm going to be using um, for this course is already given to us in our Google um, Drive. I sent a link on the WhatsApp group, so if you don't have the files I will be using, including the images, please do so to download them from the Google Drive link sent on the WhatsApp group. Okay, but for now, I'll be starting this meeting with a brief, what is a creative brief, and then we'll move on to how to create a simple wireframe using colors and images, do's and don'ts for choosing fonts for web and mobile app, creating buttons, icons, and all sorts of UI components, and finally, we'll be prototyping our design. So this is just a sneak peek. It's not a full 3 months training, just a sneak peek, 2 hours training that that give you some insights. Okay, that's what you can gain from taking our full UI UX design course with me here at Aptech Computer Education, specifically in Guarimpa, Abuja. That's where I am. So don't know where you want to be, but this is where you want to be. All right, so let's begin. When we're talking about a brief, like a creative brief, um, a creative brief for is something you sit with the client at initial standpoint to figure out what he wants to do. So a client contacts you and he's trying to give you his ideas or his vision. So at this point, as a designer, you are not meant to assume anything. You are meant to take notes. Preferably, you can record that meeting. There are two things a creative brief enables us or helps us to do when working with clients. The first thing is to get the details of what the client is asking for so that we don't assume or create something that's not recommended. And the second thing is also to get out of trouble because sometimes clients can get very funny when it comes to offering uh, when they need some services. So if you ever get into a situation where the client says, this is not what I asked for, or this is not what I demanded for, you could show them in the brief that that was exactly what was agreed on. So a creative brief is a very essential thing to put down when you are meeting up with a client or a stakeholder. especially for design, UX design. So a lot of things come up. Colors, color issues come up, layout issues come up. But when you have a brief, it can guide you, okay, to avoid a lot of problems. I've seen a lot of people face court issues and challenges because they didn't have a brief. So in this your first steps, you make sure that that is the first thing you do. Okay, don't even discuss how much yet. Don't discuss anything, but rather try to figure out if you can understand what the client needs, understand his vision, okay, and then procure settlements. You know, there's a fictional saying, or let's say a myth in UI design that says clients know what they want. The truth is, clients don't know what they want. Okay, so they just come to meet you with an idea. You, as a professional, are supposed to sculpt that idea into something feasible and present that idea to be something that is practical. Okay, so creative brief is a very good sense for that. So that's why you need a creative brief. So that's one things that you need to put in play, right? So um, make sure you always have creative brief. And as we're going on in the training, I'm also going to be talking to you about uh, so many other things. So let's just jump right in and see the other things we're doing. So I hope all of us are okay and um, we've gotten all the files that we need, all the gotten Figma downloaded and it's open. It's important that Figma is open. So make sure it's open, okay? And it's not open, please do well to open it. It's necessary for this training. And the files, there are some files I gave in some images. There are two images in the list, and one of them is what we'll be working on. The other one would be like that's the one that would be like a what to say, an assignment. Okay, so after this training, something you can work on. Just try yourself out and see if you understood everything that we've been talking about since we began this training, and that will be fine. So I'm going to move on. Just before I move into Figma, I'll be talking about a few other stuff. So let me switch to this. Okay. So now I'm switched to my uh, PowerPoint view. Let me share the screen for you. Sure, it's maybe lower. Okay, so this is the slide that I'm talking about. Just download this. And most of what I'm talking about will be from this slide, just to make the classes abrupt and straight to the point. Okay, so like I've discussed the creative brief and what the creative brief is all about. So now let's see, what is UI design? What is UI design? So what I got here is it's a UI design is basically the look and feel of your digital or physical product. So it has to do with what people will actually see at the end, or how the product will look like, how it will feel like, the aesthetics of the product. So when talking about UI design, basically you're talking about the look and feel of a product. Okay, and so then what a UI designer is expected to do, because what or you as a UI designer, a UI designer basically he uses stylistic elements like spacing, colors, patterns, images, to guide the user through the product in a really natural way. Let's say for some, if your favorite apps that you use, Facebook, um, Tinder. I'm not judging anyone in case anyone is on Tinder here. TikTok. Instagram. Once you download that software, I don't think there's anyone here that's also downloaded a user guide for any of the software. I don't think I've never seen a user guide for Facebook to tell you, oh, this is how to use Facebook. Well, probably there might be some professional videos, but anyone that is on those websites, just download the website or download the apps, and they are well on their way, okay, and creating, adding images, writing text and stuff. So, like someone once said, UI design is like a joke. If you have to explain it, then it's not really right. So, if I have to explain to you what to do on the app or on the product, then it's not a really good design, right? A good UI design doesn't need explanation. Once the user sees that design, he should already know where to go through because there should be elements and icons and touch points and touch targets that tell him, oh, okay, this is what should happen. Oh, this icon means new file. Oh, this one means buy now. This one means this one means that. So a good UI design is self-explanatory. Like I said, it's like a joke. If you have to explain a joke, then it's not a joke or it's not very funny. Okay, so the UI designer's job is to use these stylistic elements to guide the user to navigate through the app, through the software without hitches, without ups and downs and stuff like that. So basically, UI it just refers to the visual design of the product's interface. So it focuses on three things: the look and feel of the design. So basically, the colors, the typography, the layout, the look and feel of the design is a primary thing. The second thing is design elements. When we're talking about design elements, we're talking about things like buttons, form fields, drop downs, text fields, those little icons that we see on stuff, cards, and the rest. And then the next thing is interaction design, that is animations and prototyping. To make a design very nice, you add a little animation to it so that it doesn't look stale. Then the prototyping is the fact that I can click on a button and it takes me somewhere. Okay, so a user interface designer, that's UI. UI stands for user interface. A UI designer's job is to make sure that when the client interacts with this uh, product, he's not lost along the way. Okay, there's learnability as he's going through the product, he's understanding how to use the product. Okay, so that's basically that. Yeah, and of course, you want to think about creating a cohesive brand across these design elements. That's means for every page, there's a cohesive design, there's consistency. So even though you are going to be putting up some nice images and some nice graphics, animations, you want to make sure that inclusive of the layouts, everything is consistent and cohesive, meaning that they interact together, they work together. The elements in your design work together, they don't fight each other. The text and the colors are not quarreling, the images and the text are not quarreling. Basically, you're looking at the mood of the design and creating a whole cohesive environment. So that's what UI design is generally. Okay, so the next thing to break up in this webinar is UX design, UI design. Most people think they are the same thing. They are not the same thing. UX design and UI design are not the same thing. So I'm going to explain that in the next slide. So I'll just talk about a few differences between UI and UX. So they aren't the same thing. Their two terms are often used interchangeably, right? So they use together. So usually people say UX and UI designer stuff, but they are not the same thing. What they are two separate things or two separate entities that work together to create the final result, or to create the final product. So there are two separate terms that have to be used together in creating user-friendly products, generally. So UI is also called user interface. Another name for it is user interface designer is UID. So it refers to the look, feel, and functionality of a product or service, like I said earlier. So simply put, UI has to do with making the user's experience of your product as appealing and interactive as possible. So it's a good UI that will make the user want to engage in your products. If the UI is not so good, there will be engagement basically, right? Then UX is the what we call user experience. So user experience or user experience design. So you could have an acronym as UX or UXD. So still the same thing. So that refers to the totality of the user's interaction with your product or service. So it's not just the appeal now. It's not just the presence of buttons, but what happens when I click on that button? Where does it take me to? What is the what's the result when I click on the menu? If I click on this image, what does it do? And stuff like that. So the interaction with the user and the product, that is what UX focuses on, right? The overall experience of the user while using the product. So, and like I said, UI UX design is not primarily for digital products like websites and mobile apps, even physical products. I'm sure some of you are sitting down on a chair right now. So that chair is the user design, as in it was designed by someone. It was designed by someone, and it's it was sculpted for a particular thing. Like so, the chair you're sitting on right now may not look like some other chairs you've seen. So maybe some plastic chairs or some leather chairs. Every product you've ever seen, even the product of a drink bottle like Coca-Cola, Fanta, has a different design based on a user experience analysis and stuff. So it's not really digital products. Even physical products have UX design before they are created. Okay. So UX is more concerned with the quality of the user's interaction with the product. Okay, and that's what actually sprouts up the design in the first place. So UX designers focus on improving the usability and the accessibility of a product, while UI designers focus on how to make the look and feel of a product enjoyable to the user. So that's the primary difference. One focuses on the usability, while one talks about the enjoyability. So UX designers they draw a map out of the product. So basically like a blueprint, sketch, map. This is how this product should be. While the UI designers now flush out that map with some nice fancy colors and stuff, active touch points and stuff like that. So that's the primary difference between both of them. Um, it's not strange to see people function as both UX and UI designers, right? So mostly those are two different fields, right? So very quickly, so what skills do you need for UI? That's another important thing. So this is like real life or real world uses for UI design. So skill sets are required for you to become a UI designer is basically first of all learn one of the industry standard tools like what we'll be doing today we'll be learning Figma. There are other apps like Adobe XD, Sketch, Framer, Azure. There are many UI apps, but Figma seems to be the most popular of all of them right now. XD is out of production for for 2 years running now. So, but the rest are still there. So, and the good thing about it is once you learn one of these apps, yeah, it's easy to transition to the others. Learning the others won't be like a whole new ball game. To just be like switching between Notepad and Microsoft Word, right? You just naturally transit. Okay. The second skill you will need is to become well versed in fundamental methods, theories, and practices of UI design, like things I'm talking about today. Things like color theory, design layouts, and patterns, use of typography. These fundamental methods and theories are very important skills for UI design. And the next thing is to have strong collaboration skills. One of the key factors of UI designers is you must learn to work in a team-based scenario. If UI designers don't work alone, right? Even if a job comes to you alone, work with the mindset of working with a team, because there will be iteration between you and the stakeholders. So your work requires feedback from the other person. So there must be collaboration to you and other people. So you might be talking to a stakeholder, you might be talking to the user himself, you might be talking with your teammates. So you need to go back and forth, understanding the vision, make sure it is your design is in line with what they asked you to do, and a lot of back and forth. So collaboration is a very important skill for a UI designer. So um, we're going to I can help with the first and the second, but the third, you have to learn that on your own. So, okay. All right. So now I'm going to be moving into a few other things. Like, uh, I'll talk about some things that need to go from UX into UI, and one of them is going to be wireframing. So, let me first describe UX again. So, UX, like I said, is speaking of a human being's body. The UX is the skeleton. UI is the skin. We see the skin, we don't see the skeleton. And I don't think you ever see a skeleton walking without a skin, vice versa. So the skeleton needs a skin to cover it, but the skin cannot exist without the skeleton. So here comes UX. So what are the kind of things that you will do as a UX designer? UX design has a lot of researching and a lot of that basically just it has a lot of researching, it has a lot of analysis. So you're doing a lot of research, you're going out finding out, oh okay, how many people are facing this problem. So basically you're looking for problems, right, and you're trying to solve a problem. The difference between a designer and an artist is that an artist creates art out of what he feels or his emotions or what he has seen, right? But a designer creates something to solve a problem. So a UX designer is meant to solve a problem. So generally, when we're talking about UX, one of the first steps in the process of UX is to empathize, to try to understand what the client is facing or what problem exists, and try to figure it out. And then the next thing is he goes and does the research. The research is how many more people are feeling this problem. Okay, let's say, take for instance, there is a problem with transportation around. Maybe let's say in a city like Abuja right now, public transportation is an issue where uh, uh, private cars are using their cars as taxis and stuff like that. So you try to figure out, okay, how many people see that as a problem, and then you take on their analysis, take on everything that they've done, and go and analyze the data. And from that analysis, you can figure out one of the problems to solve. Now, the trick is not to solve every problem. You cannot solve all the problems. You can only solve one. So you pick one that you want to key on. Because let's look at it in the transportation industry. We have Uber. We have what's the name of this other? We have Taxify. We Taxify boats. We have boats and all these other guys. So, but why are there so many and yet the problem isn't solved? So you now look at, okay, Uber, yeah, they did a good work, but they were expensive. Okay, you now say, okay, let's look at both. Okay, we have drivers who, when they carry you, they'll be asking you for different prices separately. So, okay, they now have Taxify or InDrive that you can price your driving, and stuff like that. So if you are coming in to create a design for another car industry, you want to figure out what is that thing that those other ones aren't doing that you want to solve. You can't be doing the same thing and expecting a different results. So that's what a UX designer does. He does all those analysis, right, and creates an architectural plan on how to achieve that result. So he's trying to achieve that result, and we have things like then you say we create an architectural infrastructure, information architecture generally. Just like an architect, you write out a blueprint of what you are about to do, the plan, the uh, I call it the plan. Yes, it's still the plan. So the plan of the app you want, yeah, sorry. Okay, you want um, to create an app like what we're going to be creating now, a food app. So you create an information architecture that's an architecture for the information of that app, and you are trying to figure out what is it that the people needed that you can add and how they can connect to solve that person's problem. So basically that's what the UX designer does. And one of the key things he does is wireframing and wireframing is a byproduct of the information architecture. We have things like task flow and user flow. So let me quickly try to explain what a task flow is and what a user flow is. So a task flow is how like a task flow is straightforward information. Okay, there will be a home page. It will lead to a product. The product will lead to a cart when you select the cart and then person can purchase. That's a task flow. It's not very descriptive, but it's to the point what exactly you are trying to achieve. The difference between that and a user flow is the user flow will be okay, the person will launch into the app. He might need to sign in. When he signs in, it takes him to the homepage. The homepage, he from there go to the categories. Categories, he discovers the product. From the products, he discovers how he can view the details of the product, how he can add the product to the cart, how he goes to purchase the product, where he makes payments, where he's tracking the products, and all this other stuff. So the user flow is more complex, okay, compared to the task flow. Task flow is straightforward, like biology or design is. The user flow is all the nitty gritty. Generally, what the user flow is, how the user is going to navigate his way through the app, okay, or through the website. So that's user flow. So the whole concept of all that, once that is down, we now create a wireframe. Okay, so and now we're talking about a wireframe. What is a wireframe? So wireframing is like a blueprint of your design. Okay, to provide a clear overview of your design. So let me show you wireframe. Okay, okay. I think my screen is already showing that. Okay, so it's a blueprint of your design. They provide a clear overview of the page's structure, layouts, information architecture, user flows, as well as the intended behaviors. These are done at the early stages of the product's life. So today we'll create a basic wireframe for the design that we're trying to achieve, and so it will be easier for us to get the design out. Okay, right. So, so okay. So welcome, those of you that are just joining. The meeting is going to be recorded, so any parts of the meeting that you have missed, I will put a post up for the link of the recording so you could get full uh, detail of everything that we talked about. So welcome. So let's go back to training. Um, yes, I was talking about the wireframing. So what are the values? Why do we need to do wireframing when doing by design? Because it's a key factor in design. So let's talk about the values now. When you create a wireframe, right, it enables you get input or honest feedback from stakeholders and probably from the users as well, right? When, like I said, when designers or when your stakeholder gives you a plan or his vision, okay, and you start designing, it's good to seek feedback to know whether you are still in line with design. So if it's with the users, then when you're creating the design, you want to get feedback, basically, so you can establish pain points. What a pain point is there's those key areas that are the problem that the user is facing. So those are what we call pain points. Okay, so when you can establish those pain points. It makes you make better decisions while iterating with your design. Iterating is a back and forth movement when thinking something. You try to check it, you try to analyze it back again. That's iteration. So you use pain points to iterate through your design smartly. Okay, and it also allows you to do some self-critique while creating your design. As a designer, your head is booming with a lot of ideas. So when you create a wireframe, you could like look at the design and like, oh no, it's looking a little bit clustered, or oh, it's missing some key elements, stuff like that. So when you create a wireframe, that's the only time you can see that. Okay, so without a wireframe, you may not really see that. Okay, and then it is cheap and fast, right? You don't need internet or anything. You need buyer and people to do a wireframe, basically. So although you can also use digital products or wireframes, we just we use drawing a SketchUp of how the app or the website or the design should look like. Products, whatever it is, we just sketch it out, different ideas of it, okay, and then pick the best one. So it's those are the values you could benefit from wireframing. So there are things that are very nice for you, okay? And we have three types of wireframes: low fidelity, medium fidelity, and high fidelity. So when talking about low fidelity wireframe, just like I said, Biro and paper, or even if you're using a digital tool, it's basically a wireframe scenario where you are using grayscale, just black and white, or gray and white, or blue and just a singular color. Okay, it's not a point where you start adding colors and images. Basically, just lines and boxes, simple boxes to show where buttons will be or where images will be. So those are low fidelity wireframes. Medium fidelity wireframing comes in when there's a little bit of confidence in your design and you want to now start adding some image placeholders, okay, maybe some few colors there and there, but not really full coloring yet. So just start adjusting, okay, the size of the buttons. You get the actual size of the buttons you want to have, the actual size of the images where they will place, the actual text box where the text will be, where it's going to contain and stuff. So in medium fidelity, you start detailing the layouts, okay, of your design, so that you see how it looks like. And then the high fidelity is wireframing that looks almost like the finished work, almost like the finished design. So you that you can present to your client. Now the benefits of this is you have not yet started fully designing, so it's easy for someone to make changes and you can correct those changes. Now there's this mindset we have in Africa when someone does a design and somebody comes and say, "Oh, I like green, but let's change it to yellow." You go back and change it to yellow. You come back and says, "No, yellow is not good. Let's change it to red." You go back and change it to red. Professionally, that's not feasible. You don't do that professionally. Any changes incurs a new fee, right? Because anytime you change a color in your design, you are changing the whole design because the color sets the mood for that design. So when you do wireframing, it keeps you away from all that trouble. So just make sure you always have your wireframes down. Okay. Okay. So I hope we are following. are following. I will give a break in a short while before we go into Figma and start actually creating our design. But so let me just go quickly into UI best practices. So best practices, this is things that I believe you should do. I would recommend that if you are designing a responsive design, you should do both the desktop and mobile design at the same time. Okay, don't do the desktop first and then start trying to do the mobile. Do them at the same time so that you see how the elements are placed together. Okay, so for mobile design, think about sizing and spacing. I have this issue with a lot of people. We create a mobile design and then the buttons or the text are so close together, and if it was a real design, you figure that the user can't click. There's something, there are times when you want to click on something and it's like you're trying to use your nails to touch that thing because you might mistakenly touch something else, right? So when you're doing mobile design, you have to think about spacing, sizing. Create a button that's big enough that your fingers can touch without squinching or without touching the next button, right? If you are trying to highlight the text, make sure the spacing is enough that while highlighting the text, you don't mistakenly highlight an image as well, and stuff like that. Okay, so these things we call them touch targets in UI design. You have to be able to create specific touch targets because generally UX design is meant to be simple, not cluttered. Okay, don't get it's not while designing that you now show how great you are and how many years of experience you have. It's about usability and accessibility. So when you're creating a design, it has to be first of all usable, not just beautiful, and it has to be accessible, has to be learnable. The person has to be able to use it. Major. So that's a key one. So those are best practices. Right. So then we're since we're going to be building, let's talk about them, UI elements. So UI elements are the things that we use to create our UI design. So uh, what are the elements in user interface? They are basically spread out into four categories. We have navigational components, informational components, input controls, and containers. So navigational components are components that help the user with moving around the platform or the website or the app. Okay, like moving from the home page to the about us page to the categories page to the cart page. So navigational components enable us to do that. So things like paginations, tags, stuff. Okay, informational components, yeah, informational prompts that elaborate on the given information interface, like pop-up menus, progress bars. Maybe you're downloading something, you see a progress bar, notifications pop up, or see hints. All those hints when you hover your mouse over a tool, you now see text hints that will show you, okay, this is what this tool is. So those are informational components. That's information. And
Mr. Harold.
yes,
Okay, I've been trying to raise my hand. I think it didn't catch your attention.
oh, okay.
There's a notification that the free call will end in 15 minutes, less than that now. So I don't know what's your plan. Are we going to all reconnect after the 15 minutes elapse? I understand, the free call cannot be more than 1 hour connected stretch.
Yes,
So should we
yes.
reconnect after?
Yes, we're going to reconnect afterwards. That's why I said we're going to take a break. So when we reconnect, then I'll give you the room to speak for 5 minutes, calling then, and then we'll get back into the design, the real design. So that's why I'm trying to get rid of this talk before we get to the practical part. So using after this time, I will repost the reconnect link immediately and then that's during 4 hour break. So the small
Okay,
intermission will
thank
be
you.
4 hour break. Yeah,
All right, thank you very much. So everybody,
okay,
please take that information into account. Thank you.
right. So okay, so let's quickly get rid of this. So okay, like I said, so input controls are things that allow the users to enter information into the system. So things like forms, button, data fields, those are input controls. And containers are elements that hold other elements, like accordions or hamburger menus. Things that when you click on them, you open other things. Right? So those are containers. So those are some UI elements. We'll be creating some of them today. Um, Now we go into another key factor of the design, which is typography. Um, so Good typography will establish a strong visual hierarchy, build trust in your users, and help simplify your branding. So basically, in design, two key things is type and color. If your design is missing in good typography or in good color, then you have a bad design. You can't have a design without good coloring typography. So the right typography harmonizes with the other components on the interface. So it's important to learn how to choose typography, and today we'll also tell you how to choose a good type for your device. So very quickly, I want to talk about differences between typefaces and fonts. Now, when we talk about type, most people think types and fonts mean the same thing. Not really. Typefaces are a family of related fonts, while fonts are all the weight styles and all the things that consist of a typeface. So basically, a typeface has things that have to do with things like bidding, kerning, tracking, baselines, and serif, sans serif, and the rest. But fonts are the digital files that are used to express a typeface. Okay, so what that means is when you write on your notebook or on a board, that is not a font, that's your handwriting. A font is a font because it can be downloaded, can be put on a flash and sent to somebody else. So it's a digital product. So if your handwriting is converted to a digital file and put on a system, your handwriting now becomes a font. So fonts are usually the files that are used to describe typefaces. That's the primary difference between the two. Right. Okay, so um, in selecting a hierarchy in our design, one of the elements of design hierarchy, typography hierarchy is process of sizing colors, contrast, and alignments to guide the user on what they should be paying attention to first. So when you're creating your design, you want to be able to set up a hierarchy for them to be able to know what they are looking at. So we have size, contrast, consistency, negative space, and alignment. Those things constitute a hierarchy in our design. So uh, go through the slides while we're designing. In the next session, I'll be breaking these things down, okay, and how to choose the right typeface. So basically, we reflect on the personality and tone of the design, and primarily stick to one typeface or at most two. So primary and secondary. Don't do a design that has three or four different texts, maybe Times New Roman, Arial, and Sans Serif, and one other kind of thing. So choose one. Okay, so for the next 5 minutes, I'll quickly rush on what color theory is all about. Color theory. So it's the framework that surrounds the use of color in art and design. So basically, color theory, which is a very key thing in design, has to do with the way colors relate to each other and the way they make us feel as human beings. So I listed some important terminologies here like color hue, shade, tint, tone, and temperature. In the world of design, we don't use the word color, we use the word hue because hue is a pure pigment of color without tint or shade. Shade now is the addition of black to a color. So you want to say something like dark red, what you should be saying is a shade of red. Okay, and if I say a tint is adding of white to a color. So if I want to say bright red, I won't say bright red, but I'll say use a tint of red. Okay, so a tone is in between. So basically shades are tints are tones. They are either dark, bright. Okay, then temperature has to do with the warmth or coolness of the color. Okay, so yellow is like a warm color, blue is like a cool color, stuff like that. Okay, and then we have some color systems. The additive system, the subtractive system. The additive is what we do for digital products, RGB, which is adding addition of light. All the colors combined together will form whites. Subtractive colors coming together, which is cyan, cyan, magenta, yellow, and black, CMYK for printing. When you mix those colors together, they get black. They turn to black. So printers use subtractive colors because it reduces ink, but RGB requires a lot of light. If you print with RGB, use a lot of ink, stuff like that. But in the world of colors, we use hex codes. We don't use color names because color names are geographical. Okay, so um, yeah, basically geographical. They like you would say something like onion purple. It's evident in Africa what onion purple is, but some parts of South America, when you say onion purple, their onions is white there, so they don't understand what you're saying. So we use hex codes rather to describe them. Codes like this DB563 with a hashtag, so 6 digits. And so moving on, we have how to pick colors for your design. So basically, this one is not about your what you feel is the best color, but what you think or what you know is the color that matches the theme of what you're designing. So when picking colors for your design, you're basically thinking of who am you designing for? Okay, what emotion are you trying to convey to the audience? So what's the theme style? What colors represent that company? So basically, color psychology and contrast come into play there. Okay, and lastly, we have this 60-30-10% rule when choosing color. So primarily 60% of your interface should be one natural color, neutral color. Okay, 30% would be a secondary complementary color, and 10% is going to be a stronger accent color. So this will help the user move their eyes easily. So same thing with picking of images. You want to things that have to do with your scene. So um, right now we are going to move, or I'm going to go off for just a few seconds, and we will be back shortly. I will send the link to you. What I just did for this first half was to cover up every theoretical part of this training so that we don't have confusions along the way. But in the next part, I will be going straight into Figma where we'll be creating design. I've selected some pictures, I've sent the pictures to you, and just use those pictures to uh, create or you recreate that image together. So by the end of today, you will all be UI designers having something that you can put in your portfolio professionally. And I, I hope everything I said was not like I was speaking in Greek. That's why I'm recording this session so you could play it again and watch it. The recording has my face. I don't know why Google Meet doesn't want to use my face. But either way, um, anything you didn't catch, you will see it in the next clip. So we're signing off now. When we'll be coming back, my manager will be talking to you about a promotional detail of this course running in AppTech Warimpa, Abuja. So I'll be seeing you in a few minutes. Thank you and see you soon. I'll be back. Mhm. Okay, right. Okay. See. Welcome back. Hey, boss, when you're back, you could talk to um, floor is yours for the next few minutes. Can give a promotional talk for everyone joining the group.
Okay, no problems. Thank you, man. Well done so far.
So, yes.
Where are these people now? Maybe they join quickly. Hi, Harriet.
Good evening, sir.
Good evening. How are you? Hope you're learning something today.
Yes, sir. Thank you for the opportunity.
You're welcome. Mr. Harriet is one jack of all trades like me. She wants to do
Yeah.
everything. She's a virtual assistant.
uh,
She wants to do IT. She wants to do tech. She wants to do this one, that
okay.
one, and I'm sure she wants to do real estate very soon. Harriet, well done, eh? Kudos.
Well done.
Thank you, sir.
Well done.
Where these people have really enjoyed. What was taking them so long? Okay, let me ginger them small in the group
Okay.
chat
Right.
because we don't have so much time.
Yeah. Harriet, hope I wasn't too fast in the stuff. Hope you fixed a few things.
Yes, it was good, controlled, modulated.
Okay.
Do you have any
All right.
questions?
No, I don't have any questions. When we are done with this, if I have questions, I'll come to you.
Yeah, okay.
To me, am I the trainer?
Yes, sir. Maybe for let's say how do you guys say it? If I want to like continue the course.
Yeah, okay.
Oh, okay. Okay, no problems. That's fine. Okay.
Um,
Mr. Godwin, good to have you here. How are you?
Fine, brother. Greet you. Good evening, sir.
Great you
good evening,
especially. It's
sir.
been a
Mr.
long, long
Mr.
time.
Robo.
It's
Mr.
been a very
Harold,
long
good
time,
to see
man.
your fine face.
See you too, sir.
Sorry, I'm having a lot of problem with the network earlier, so I had to just turn off and
No,
retry to come back in.
no, it's fine. It's fine.
I hope I will be able to get the video record much
Yes,
later.
yes.
Okay.
After this,
Awesome.
I will send the link.
Oh, okay. That's beautiful, sir. That's beautiful. That's beautiful. Well done,
Okay, it
guys. Well
appears these
done.
people don't want to join.
Sorry?
It appears these guys are taking forever to join back.
Okay.
I'm thinking, Mr. Hara, that we should continue. Anytime
Okay.
they join, as far as since we have the recording,
Yeah.
okay,
Okay.
someone else has joined.
And someone else just joined now.
Um,
Okay.
okay, I really wish that everybody can join quickly. Okay, okay,
Yeah.
I think we have a quorum now. We can continue, I guess.
All right.
Welcome back, Favor and Tara. Did I pronounce that correctly? I don't know. You can unmute yourself and talk back. We're in a very interactive phase right now. Favor, please unmute. And Tara, hello. Okay, so without wasting much time, because it's really not on our side, I will share my screen and just talk to us very briefly about something, okay? And from there we will take it up. Um, One sec. Um. Oh boy, I can't seem to. Okay, let me just share an entire screen then, if that's the case. I'm trying to share just my PowerPoint, but it's not working. So I'll just share my screen. Oh, excuse me. Okay, can you see my screen?
Yes.
Please confirm if you can see my screen. Okay, so very quickly, I want to talk to you about why we're here. This program is sponsored by Aptech, Guarimpa, and we just want to give you a brief rundown about us and what we stand for. First of all, Aptech is a known brand. For those of you who don't know, maybe you're coming in contact with Aptech with us for the very first time. We are really, really um, we've been around for a long time, and it's a very popular brand um, that a lot of people know. And for over 25 years, because as at the time of preparing this, it was about 25, but right now it's over 25 years. Aptech has been around, and in over 40 countries, spread across different places. In Nigeria, we have more than 10 centers. In fact, in Nigeria as a whole, there are up to about 50 centers. Some have not started. Or in 2024, I work with a company called Raptors Technologies, and we are one of the largest franchise holders of Aptech. Aptech is a franchise from India, and we have one of the largest, right? Um, what is Aptech basically? It's a training school. It trains people for IT and also multimedia. Mr. Harrow, please confirm if you're recording this.
Yes, it's recording.
Okay, thank you. So we have a training arm. The training is segmented into two. There is the tech education and there is also the multimedia education. So you have Aptech computer education and you have the Arena multimedia. So that is what we do. This course that we were talking to you about, UI UX, is under both Arena and ACE, which is Aptech computer education. Like I mentioned, Arctic has been around for a long, long time. Right now, it's over 38 years, in fact, 40 years. I mean to say it's about 40 years by next year, to be 40 years by next year. So, what are the programs that we have? We have advanced diploma in software engineering. We have advanced diploma in multimedia. We also have Aptech certified network specialists. We have professional courses like MIS and soft skills for people that want to learn about Microsoft Office and also a bit of intermediate programs like advanced Excel and data analysis with Excel. We have programs like full stack development, full stack main. We also have cross platforms, data science, and a whole lot of other programs. We have short term courses, what we call like skill up courses. These courses are small, small skills you can just add up. So, for instance, you want to just learn about cloud computing, you can pick that as a skill and learn it. You don't have to do the whole course set, right? The whole professional course. So, this is very handy when you need a quick fix. Maybe you want to do a program, you want to get an admission, you want to get a job, and you don't have the skill, that particular skill, and is needed, and it's one skill. You can pick it and say, there, let me do this and go on. So we have those kind of courses. Career courses are usually longer, 2 years thereabouts, 1 year and 2 years. Then you have the professional courses, then you have the short-term courses, right? What is the projection for the IT industry? It's projected that by 2030 it will generate a projected market size of $1.8 trillion. That is a whole lot of money. In Nigeria, it is fast becoming a tech hub. Nigeria is fast becoming a tech hub in Africa, and we're looking at contributing maybe in the next few years over 20% to the GDP. Right now, it's contributing about over 10. So we're looking at more growing. If you notice, fintechs are growing exponentially. And these are just a tip of the iceberg. So why are we telling you this? We're telling you this because there is a huge demand for IT people. IT professionals are demand. There's a huge demand locally and internationally, whether in digital content creation. You need IT skill. You need to know how to market yourself digitally, digital marketing. It's an IT skill, software sourcing, fintech, all these people will all need a huge market gap. If it's still a huge market gap, if you're skilled, if you really know what you're doing, to find a job is not that hard, quite frankly. So we have this program called Jackpot. It is a program that seeks to give people relevant skills so that when they travel out, they don't do menial jobs. They become, to get entry level um, jobs in the US, UK, and grow from there. I can't see the hand up, but just give me a moment. I will come to it. The question that you have. Then all these programs are very very. It's just 4 hours, 2 hours a day, 4 sessions a week. If you want to see much time, you can answer all your questions. And if you are interested, program is about 12 months program. We have the full UI UX program, which is 12 months. You a week. So depend on your schedule. You are interested in. Let's talk about it. But right now, let's go back to the training. Mr. Harold, over to you.
Right, thank you, sir. At some point, the network was breaking, so they weren't really hearing everything, but at least they could see the slide. So, but it
Okay.
was, yeah, so it's good. So that's it. So let's go back quickly into the training so we can do something, and I'm going to be sharing my screen on Figma. So I hope we all have our Figmas running. Right? Well, okay, so this is Figma. The Figma is one of the tools that we'll be using for our design. If you are launching Figma for the first time, this will be the interface you see. Yours might be white, yours might be black, but it's not different. It's just based on the theme of the system I'm using. So I'm going to quickly get into the fact. Figma is a paid app, right? And it only gives you permission to use 3 designs or 3 projects per time. But if you want to use it unendingly, continuously, what you should do is create a design file under drafts and not under design here. So these are different files you could create. This is a design file where you create your designs. This is FigJam where you create things like your architecture and the rest. So I'm just going to quickly go into the design file. Well, okay, let me take you into the FigJam file. So come where you find your name here, you have drafts. Click on the plus button here, and you will see design and FigJam. So you could click on the FigJam, and it will open a sort of um, whiteboard for you to um, do all your planning and stuff. So the app that we're designing is a food app, right? It's a food app. I send the link to you. We're going to be designing food mobile. I've just designed like 1 or 2 pages. and then we can continue with that. So I'm just going to give the structure of how the wireframe will look like. So definitely here at the bottom, I have my tools. The tool I'll be picking is shapes, which is here. So I'll click on that and I want to take a square, right? So I want to draw a basic square. Now these are things I could do on paper, but since there's no paper, there's no way I could draw and show it to you. So let me use this tool here. So I'll imagine this is my screen, okay? And I want to create something that has many buttons here. So I could take on this other shape and draw something like this. This would be like where my search bar, something search bar. And then I want to have some elements scrolling down here. So I'll take the circle. I want to have circle here. That's kind of to show my tools. I'm holding Alt to drag this shape. We use Alt to drag for duplicating. Alt on your keyboard, or Option if you're using a Mac. You drag a shape, and then I'll do Control D to repeat that effect I just did. Okay, so just hold them together and then centralize this way. So this element will this element will present my where I'll have my categories kind of. Then I will have something like this for a card, okay, for a main element, okay, and then I will have some other cards around with other examples. So smaller card here, and then I will okay this one have others spinning across that way, so kind of like a carousel. I will have a menu here, so this will be my menu for my app. So the kind of design we're going to build will something simple like this, okay? And then we could have some text written here. So text here, sorry, just hard. So text here, and then I'll have some more boxes down, and maybe something here at the background. So this will be what I would use for a guide to the app we're about to create. So this is what I'm talking about, having a wireframe, just some simple structural design to help you guide you through what we're trying to build. Okay, now I want to create an actual design. So if you go back to the F here, if you are using a Mac, you could click on menu and back to the home. If you're using Windows, you can click on this home button and we can go here and create a new design file so that we could switch over to the design file where we will be doing the design. So this is what we're going to be working for the next 30 minutes. Right. So when you open it, this is the Figma interface. All your open files will be shown as tabs up here. The menu is this F sign. So if you click on it, you will see all the menus that you will need. Here you have that I'm using a free draft. Okay, and here we have assets and we have files. So we want to be in file. Okay, on the right, this is kind of like your layers panel. Okay, and your assets panel. Here we have the properties panel and prototyping panel, and here we have our tools. So right ahead, I want to bring in the picture we're going to be using so we can see it on the screen. So right here from these tools, I want to go and select an image, and I want to pick the image of the picture that we're going to be using. Picture. So I want to open this image, show that it's just here in the screen. I can see it and be around. So this is the image of the same app that we're going to it's an app that got some Dribble just to make it easier for you. So you could get some good designs from Dribble and practice with. Okay, so the first thing to do in Figma is Figma recognizes frames. You need to create like paper space or a frame where Figma will be able to put your designs into. So you can use the shortcut of A on your keyboard or F, or you could click on this icon here that looks like a grid for frames. And when you do that, you will get some uh, items here on your right in your properties panel. So you could be designing for phone, for tablets, for desktop, for anything you want. So we're going to be designing for phone. So I'm going to choose basic phone here, iPhone 16 Pro Max. So what Figma does is it has generic sizes of all the phones that exist, but definitely not all the phone products in the world. That means we have generic sizes that fit our phone. So I'm gonna pick one of these. Alright, so this is the size of an iPhone Pro 16 Pro Max. So I could change this name by double clicking here or clicking here to change them. So I'll call this one home because that will be the home page. We want to use it to design this page here, this one. Okay, so just follow along, and if you get lost, because of time, like I said, I'll post the videos and then you'll see what I did. Okay, so this is the paper space that we are constricted or constrained to, right? And I want to create this section here. To zoom in, you use Control and plus on your keyboard. To zoom out, Control and minus. So I'm going to zoom in. I want to see this element here. So this is like a tab, like a blockade, and this is like search bar. Not very clear. I think I made a mistake. So I will just work with my instincts here, and I will create a tab here that will cut out this. So one of the first things we do in Figma is create a grid so that we have margins, so that we don't make our designs go to the edges of the page. So we need a ruler to show up here. So you can find your ruler by clicking on the F here, the Figma logo here, and under view you want to check for rulers. The shortcut is Shift R. So I'm not going to be doing too many shortcuts so that will confuse people. So rulers, and then I have some rulers here. So I'm just going to drag from this ruler down, and I want to drag, you can see that red line, and to my left is counting some numbers. I want to get to somewhere like 50. 51. I can't get to 50. I can zoom in and try it again. 50. So still need to zoom again. So the reason why why we're trying to get this margins for this point here is because when you create a design for an app, your phone might have this demarcation here. So you don't want your design to be affected by this cut. So you give a gap of something like 50. This gap is close to 50. So it allows from spacing for between your design and the phone structure, right? So I'm just going to do that. The size of my phone is by width, this is 502. So I will minus 50 from this, so that will give me 452 there. So let's come down here, and I'm looking for something close to that. So let's go. Although this is not very important, the bottom of this is not very important. So I might put somewhere double of that. So let's go 50 for this one. Okay, I don't need the same spacing up and down, but for the left and right, the most convenient sizing it would be 30 this side, and then cut out 30 from here as well. So 30 from the width. So this is 440, so I'll remove 30, that will be 3, then 410. Yeah, so I have 30 to 30. So this is very important before you start designing for placement of your elements for alignment. Okay, now I want to create this guy, this space in here. So I'm going to use my come down here, take rectangle. I'm going to draw a rectangle beginning from this corner here and stop somewhere. So I know that my right up in my app will stop just above this red line. It's down. Okay, and then I want to create these circles, and they are going to be images in the circles. So create the circles first of all. Let's give a generic size. Let's say 75 by 75. Okay, and then I could lock the aspect ratio so that when I'm resizing it, it sizes together. So we need 4 or more of this. So I could duplicate and give a spacing. Okay, thereabouts, something like this. Now, to make my work easier, I could create a frame from these two circles I have created. So that I could make duplicates and have them follow themselves. So what will happen is I'm going to activate something we call an auto layout. So first of all, I convert these guys to a frame. So I can right click on both of them and frame the selection. So once they are framed, right here in my app, I could click on this button here, which would activate an auto layout. What auto layouts do is Figma forces the elements to behave in a certain way. Okay, so I'm going to click on this auto layouts, and when I click on the auto layouts, so by default it's showing a horizontal here. So what that means is here it has created this spacing of 6 of 18. I can see the gap here is 18. I can increase or reduce the gap from here. Okay, or clicking in here I can increase or reduce the gap. So but 18 is nice. Right now I want to create more of this circle. So I could hold control and select one. Then want to select something inside the group, hold control or command mark, select the object. Now I could do control D to make a duplicate. And because of the auto layout command, it automatically creates a duplicate maintaining the same distance, right? So just make a few more and they are off screen, doesn't matter. I'm supposed to create a carousel with it where this seems to be sliding, right? So, and it maintains the same magically, maintains the same gaps, okay? So when you click on it, you could see that it's having this horizontal flow. If I change it to a vertical flow, then it will flow downwards. So when I'm changing the design, it will be flowing downwards, but I want them to go this way, so I'll keep them that way. Right, so now I have my layers panel, I have that frame, so I will call this frame category, so it will be easy for me to spot the difference. Okay, so now that's my categories frame. So on auto layout and I have the elements inside. Okay, so now I want to put in some pictures here. I sent in some pictures from our news files. It's an XD food pics. So how you apply a picture to a shape if you didn't bring it in from here is you just click here in your, then you select the objects in your properties panel where we have the fill, click on this icon here. We have solid color gradients, we have texture patterns, and then we have image. So this is where we're going to put the picture in. So I'm just going to go in and select a picture. Picture upload from your computer. Check in here. So it's simple pictures. So let's pick something. Let me pick something like stuff. Let's see if we get some pizza. Okay, so I got pizza here. So open that. and the pizza image is right there. Okay. So I do the same thing for the next image. I can drop in another picture image to upload. So perhaps since I have pizza there, this could be chicken, right? So I open the chicken is there. I go into the next image. I want to add, let's say something for drinks. Since these are categories basically, so I look for drinks picture like coffee. Let's take this coffee. So I put that in there, and I go into the next one, and I'll just do for this one, this last one. So trade some time. Oh, I know chicken. I love chicken. So I can write chicken. What's the chicken? Why not? Because I did chicken, I add something else. Let me pick soft drinks, soda and stuff. So I have a picture of that somewhere. So, oh, this is good. I use drinks. Okay, so preferably I now have a sort of uh, carousel showing different products. Okay, here. Okay, so I've gotten this design, right? And then next thing is just names. Okay, so the names of all these elements, I can add them with a text tool. So take my text tool, which is this one, and then click anywhere here and type something. So this should be pizza, right? Click outside. Now I could do the same thing. I could put this in a frame and do an auto layout and space them so that they line up same this guy. So I'm going to frame this text as well. Frame it, okay, and I'm going to do auto layout. Okay, I need to go that way, and the same way I'm going to copy of this. So we make a copy of it first before I. Okay, so let me do. Oh, this one. Combo. Let me call this one combo. Okay, so I can now align these guys together. You select two elements and use this alignment here to keep check. Now I can frame this selection, okay, and then it to layout and select the to the expand it. So I want to layout here. I can text alignments. I can make it align to one side. Change my grid to 62, and then so I now make some adjustments to the auto layout in my frame. I want to try to extend my frame beyond that, and I want to reduce maybe the gap. The gap is too much. It's too much. So I could change the text of this one to drinks or tea. Change the text of this one to chicken and on and on like that. So just something simple like that. Okay, so that's the general idea or use of this auto layout and such to keep things organized in your scene, right? So let's go through that. Yes. Okay, so now this element will be directly under this object here. Now it's not by force that you use auto layout to use auto layout every time. So just did it so that you see how that can also be used on text. Okay, so now I want to get this card. A card is an element that comprises of pictures, a little bit of text, and a call to action button. So I'm just going to create a card now by creating a rectangle. I'll draw a rectangle here, and doesn't need to spread to the edge of the margin, just has to reach a certain point because there will be other cards coming in. So this will be like a slide. It's not just going to be simple. Now we want to make sure that distancing is the same in between this from here to here and from this T to this card. So if I select this element here and press Alt, I could see the distance between this. This is 33. So 35. So that it's nice. And here to here, I hold Alt. This is 39. So I can bring this on 4 steps up. So that it's 35 here, 35 here. Remember, in UI design, consistency is important. So if you are creating elements, you want to make sure that everywhere in your design there is a consistent spacing. And when you draw a rectangle and you see this white circles here, these are what we call the corner radius. You drag them to create rounded rectangles so that you don't have sharp edges all the time. Okay, so this would be my card. Okay, or you could do that with a shape, or you could just create a frame, and frames behave like shapes. Okay, so that means if I took a frame and drew a frame like I was drawing a rectangle, okay, I will have the same result. Okay, I could give the frame a fill color, so let's give it something dark as well. Now it also has the corner radius. It's not going to show up here, but in my properties I can see it here. I can round it up as well. So whether you use a frame or use a rectangle, you can still get the same results. So let me use frame now. So I'll make sure this is 35. See, in Figma told me I was already in the 35 range there. Okay. So now inside that frame, I want to put an image. I want to put a button. I want to put some text. So I could take my text and write something. Is a something. I don't know where that. So I could just write something, and right here I could pick text and increase the size of my text here. So maybe I'll make this 20 since each text, and I could duplicate that text, right, and just write something else here. That makes no sense. There are some tools that we'll use in Figma to create a lorem ipsum or placeholder text. So, okay, so this text, I'll make this 14, so that it's kind of smaller than this one. And then I take a rectangle. I want to make a button. So typically when you're creating buttons, the best height for your buttons will be anything between 35 to 50. Anything more than that button is too big. Remember, this is a mobile phone, so we need too many sizes. So let me make this button 40, correct? And add a corner radius of 10. About probably even more. Let's do 20. Why not? So it looks a little bit rounded. So I'm going to put it in to this card here. So don't mind that you can't see it now. We'll just change the coloring. Okay, so now I have my rectangle. I have my button, call to action button, and then I have let me put in circle where I will draw, keep my image, right? So go in there, get an image of pizza, some sorry, pizzerias, very crazy looking pizzas. House. Okay, so these all are inside this frame now. So for my button, I want to stick with a color. Let's say I want to use this color for text. So for my frame, first of all, I'm going to pick fill. If you have a color you want to use, you can use your pick tool here and sample color. So I will sample that color. Okay, and now I have that red cross. Right, so for my button will definitely be white. So shift that to white. Okay, and the text also will be white. So I'm holding control to select the elements inside so that it's easier for me to use. So I go down to the fill, I also change that to white. And there's a lot of things about creating textiles and stuff that we do in Figma, but we will do that all in our course. When you register our course, then we'll be able to deal with all that. There are a lot of things to put in check here, but when you register for the course, then we'll be able to take time and teach you all. So then you can put a button text here. So let's go some button. So button text are usually 16 and not bold and light. So basically the button and the rectangle are aligned perfectly, central, and so that's going to be my button. So it's just to have another copy of this. It's over here. So it's 18. Fine. So that will create that color. And then I can have the text here. So this will just be some text to say order again. Just put that one here. So keeping spacing and alignments. Then I have some other shapes as well. This is going to be rectangle here. So this will be a kind of a card. Okay, so I have two rectangles actually. This one right here at the bottom. Okay. This one will be rounded off. This one not so much. And then this one will have an image. So let's just pick any image and let's pick some image. So then I have text here. So I'll just duplicate this text and let's put it right here. And in my layers panel, I want it above, so change so that it's on top here. Reduce the size 14 and probably make it black is fine. Now this I will make white. Okay, and then the first thing you say is, but you're not seeing, I'm not seeing anything. That's not a problem. Turn all this, okay, and put them into a frame. So frame that selection so that this is a card. And now with my frame, I can add a shadow, drop shadow. Alright, so see, adding a drop shadow creates that effect of it's a button that is elevated to increase the blur. Okay, so we have this card. So that's the reason why we did this is so. The reason why we did this is so that my elements could be seen. Let's keep this. I want my elements to be able to be repeated easily. So select this and duplicate that. Okay, And then another feature here for this, maintaining spacing, and this will be a rectangle to its my menus here. So this ruler here that I put here, this will be kind of baseline where my icons will stop. So if I had to get some icons, this would be an icon. Okay, this would be where all my icons will be. Okay, one of the fastest ways to get icons is in the home menu. You could get to community, and inside community have where you can get some good icons. Okay, just design resources for UI kits, icons, illustrations, and stuff. So to just pick icons, look for something that has some good icons and pick them like school icons. And once you pick them, it adds to Figma. The other way you could do that is by clicking here, actions, you come to plugins, and then under plugins you could select and search for some icons here and download them. So the one I'm going to give you a list of icons you can use. So I want to go to Iconifier and I want to search for a home button. So I could come here and type home, search, and it will give me home button. So I just look for this one and put it as a frame, and then I could put for cards button. Okay, so what is doing that is importing them into the design. So import as frame. I could pick services or something. So whatever buttons I'm trying to we always look for. So let's say cards. Let me just pick something like cards. Yeah, so two cards. So something else like a wallet and a card. So let's just import that. So let me just work with this ones for the meantime. So all the icons I brought in are all here. So just so this is my cards button. So here, this is my cards. This is my home button. So I come in here and increase the size of it. So let's say 40. So it's fine. I make sure it's lapped. This red is here. The same thing for this one 40. Same thing for this one 40. So with this we can see that it's quite easy to have a design when you have plan. It's very easy to put together a simple design when there is a plan. Now when there is no plan, that's where people start doing some funny stuff. So I would like to continue, but with this concept here, you can actually recreate all that I have just done. And if you wanted to create a prototype, let me just show you what the prototype will look like. So let me call this home 2, and let me change this flame to blue so it looks like a different color of design. Right. So I want a situation where if I click on something, like on this button, it takes me in here, and if I click here, it takes me back here. So to do that in Figma, you just come to prototype, switch from design to prototype here, and if I can select this frame, and anytime I click on this frame, you can see this cross here. I just drag it and drop it on this other page. Now it says on tap or on click, either way. How will it react? It will navigate to this button and it should navigate smartly. And then I could click on this one and say, okay, if I click on probably this one here, it should bring me back here, and the same method. So I'll just quickly show you the flow here. So if I click on this icon for flow, Figma will load a preview of what's going to happen. So it's going to start showing this page first. All right, so we have the icons the way they are on this page. So you can see this button, there's a hand over it. There's no hand over this one. So if I click on this, it turns blue, like it's turned to this page. Okay, and if I click on this, it comes back to red. So what is happening is I'm animating between the pages. So if I create a page of something else, maybe for one of that products, and I click on the card here, it should take me into that page. And if I click again, it should bring me back to the home page. So that's what prototyping is all about. So this is what we'll cover for this webinar. We will have another webinar sometime in the future, not sure. But if you want to get the full benefits of the training, we will encourage you to register at Aptech or Impact and take our full course on UI UX design, and then you will be able to benefit from the full training of everything. There's so much to learn in UI UX design. There's so much beauty you can create. So this is just a teaser. Just trying to wrap everything up in 2 minutes. But that's all I'm going to be talking about for today. If there are any questions, you could send it to the group. I will send this recording link to the group as well. But I promised that this couldn't be for 2 hours, and it's almost 2 hours now. I want to thank you for your presence and for attending this meeting. And thank you for hearing me. Like I said, if you have any questions, you have a group so you could chat with. So I'm going to end here and I'll hand over to Mr. Robo if he has any last words to say before we wrap up for today. Thank you. Mr. Robo, sir. Um, anyone?
Okay.
Yeah,
I'm here.
all right, sir.
All right. Thank you very much, Mr. Harold, for this introduction. For everyone that has participated in this, I hope you were able to follow along. We would love to see to hear your questions. If you have any questions, we have about 9 minutes before it goes off. If you have any questions or any concerns you want to share, please you can unmute yourself. Let's quickly talk about it before the session comes to an end. Won't want to have to reconnect again. Questions? Can you hear me at all? Favor, Gabriel, Tara, Chibo. Do you guys have any questions?
No, I have no question.
Okay, thank you for that confirmation. For the rest of you, if you don't have any question, it is fine. We will end the session here. But this is what I would love us to do. I would love us to go back to our systems, our respective systems, right? We saw what he did, um, and try and replicate what we have just done in today's session. Try and replicate it on your own, and so that you can say, oh, okay, you even if it's as little as possible, you've learned and you put it to practice, okay? Because that is the only way you truly learn. If you watch this till tomorrow and you don't take any action, nothing's gonna happen. So do that tonight, tomorrow, and do put your links in the group chat so that we can see. If it's a recorded video or screenshot, whatever you can put as as evidence that you have done something. Not really as evidence, just show us what you have done. We will appreciate it. Thank you, Favor. Do try it out and give us a feedback in the group chat. Share with us in the group chat the what you attempted, and if there is any correction, Mr. Harold here will definitely help us make any corrections or assist you in any way that you need it. In the absence of any question, I want to sincerely appreciate Mr. Harold for making our time to feature in this. Let me turn on my video so that you can see me very well.
Okay.
So that he knows we really appreciate you for the good work you've done. Interestingly, we're wearing the same shirt.
Yeah.
You know, um, I want to thank you. You did a fantastic job. It's a good introduction to UI UX design, and I hope that you all that participated learn a thing or two. Like I mentioned, please put it to practice. Okay, just go and do something with it tonight. Play around with it. You'll find it interesting. And like I also said, the full course is available. You can sign up with us at Aptech Guarimpa, and you'll be able to take this course and build a career in UI UX. People are making a buck off UI UX design alone. And if you notice, we didn't have to do any coding. It is code free if you are afraid of
Code free.
writing code. You don't need to write any code. Just move your buttons here and there, create your design, do your wireflow, do all those things, your wireframe, I mean to say, and just run your thing. You don't have to learn Java, Python, all of them. You don't have to learn anything. You just have to focus on this thing, and I know that we can do it. If you put your mind to it, you can. So please make the best of use of this opportunity. And don't forget, we are available on the group chat. Drop any question, anything at all, even if it's not UI UX related. You can drop any questions in the group chat. We will attend to it. And if you need any counseling on any of our programs, anything that you want us to know, or you want to know about what the courses we're offering, please do shoot me a message or drop a message on the group chat. We will attend to them graciously. So, without much ado, thank you very much. It is good night from me here in Abuja. See you when I see you. For those of you who are here, who are still here to the end, I have a gift for you. Okay, so this is what I'm going to do for you. Any program of your choice that you pick, you want to do with us, I'm going to give you a whooping 30% off it. Usually, we don't go beyond 10%. We don't go beyond 10%, right? We don't. But I celebrate your dedication that you stay to the end of this program. It is fantastic. So if you want to take advantage of this opportunity, please chat me this night or latest tomorrow, or come to the office on Monday. We need to sit down and agree on the program you want to do and let us do it. I'm not kidding. I am giving you 30% discount, but you have to enroll this next week while entering. And there is no story. You come any program at all you're picking, any of our programs
Any
at all.
program.
Um, yes, any with the emphasis on any. But of course, I'll come and do office automation anyways. But just come, let's talk. Send me a message. Some of my colleagues are here. The counselors, one of the counselors just joined. You can drop a message on the group chat. Ask me about the discount. We will attend to you, and we will make it happen for you. Temi Lolua, you're coming when we are sharing grace. You're welcome, anyways. So we're about sharing grace. That's when you came in. Don't worry, the recording will be made available for you in the so Mr. Harold, as soon as you can, just drop the link to the recording so that everybody who are not able to participate will be able to see that. Once again, please do practice. Once the video drops, look at it again and see the areas that you missed and practice all over again. All right. Thank you very much for participating and talk to me about the discount. Good night.
Night.